Okay, today we're going to be working on an 11 by 14 painting, and I've kind of put together this drawing that will show what we're doing. We're going to actually make a little witch, and I'm just going to put in the background for now, and then we're going to trace on the witch. So I put in a few lines here so I know where shading should be, and the hat is going to be black, but there'll have to be some shading on that as well. So what we're going to start off, the color that we're going to use for this beginning is dioxazine purple, and this is the Utrecht color of dioxazine, and it's a heavy body. So we're going to put that on our palette and see how this goes. I want the background to be purple because I think it would look pretty cool as a purple shade. Let's get my things together, and then we can make the green. I think green and purple kind of look good together. We're going to make the face on her green, and then the other colors, of course, we'll be putting in as well. So I'm going to get a nice flat, or this is a bright, it's a number 12, and I'm going to begin with my dioxazine purple, and I'm not going to mix anything into it. I may variegate it a little bit. I just want a nice dark background here, and maybe add a little white to this. It probably wouldn't hurt because I'm going to have that hat here, and we're going to need to be able to see it. So I'm going to just pull a little white into this, kind of get a little bit more of a nice deep purple. Okay. So I just put like purple and dioxazine on my brush, making sure that I get all those nooks and crannies. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to my paint just to kind of get it a little bit more flowy. So glad you could join me today for this painting. Hope you enjoy this, and I think you'll enjoy it myself. I kind of enjoyed putting it together. Hopefully it'll turn out the way I want it. And I'm going to put another little bit of white on my canvas. Now this white is called Deco Art White, and I have to say it's a pretty good paint. So far that I've been using it, I have enjoyed using it. It's it gives me a nice it's a nice flow onto the canvas and everything. So we're just gonna kind of bring all this together. I like those rough backgrounds, so you have to see that I do use this technique of texturizing it. Just gonna kind of make some X strokes here. Here. Somebody's out there cutting their grass, and I'm smelling all the fumes. Woo! Put a little bit more water into my dioxazine. Spritz a little water into it. I don't want it real runny, But I do want it, because it is a heavy body, I want it to be able to get on into the areas that need. Kind of like that lighter in the center, because that's where her face is going to be. I think we have that pretty well done. Put a little more dark on this side here. Now you don't want to forget your sides, and get those nicely covered also. Making sure they're clean, nice and clean. You want everything to be clean as you paint, nice and clean. Making sure all those nooks and crannies are covered. Dioxazine on my canvas, on my palette. Wow, I tend to say the wrong things all the time. Well, you have to forgive me. I get involved in my painting and then I start to lose my trend of thought. Now, I do not like that, so I want to fix that. Get some of that little purpley shade mixed in there right. And as it dries, you can see that there's things that need to be worked on, so and that happens quite frequently when you're painting. You go back into it and realize that, oh gee, looks like we need to paint a little bit more. And you can also use your glazing liquid for this to make it smoother, or however you want it. Like I said, I like the texture, especially with a witch. You want a little texture in there. Okay, I'm getting these sides. And we'll be back. When this all dries, I'll be back. I'll have my sides finished. I'm sure you don't want to see me painting my sides. Make sure that your center is lighter, and we'll continue from here. Thank you for stopping in, and we'll wait till this dries. Okay, so the background is dried, and I've traced this on from my sketch that I had made. And I'm combining like a couple of photos here that I thought would be pretty good. And I kind of like this hat, so I'm kind of mimicking that hat and the hair. So the hair will be coming down here some. And actually, I think the way that looks, it just might be actually, instead of this, it might be coming around sort of like her hair, and then this hat comes down this way. So I may be just doing that. And I got that the way I want it, and I'm using this face. I think they were showing some makeup techniques here. So I'm just kind of using that face with this, the similarity to that. So what I want to do is I'm going to start out, I know this is a little strange right now, but I want to start out with the eyes. The eyes are green, and I'm going to make that, I believe, a phthalo, let's see, phthalo green, the yellow shade, and I'm going to add a little bit of yellow into it. Let's see, I'm going to use some of my yellow oxide. Oh, I think I have some yellow here. If I do, I will use it. If not, I will use my yellow oxide. And it looks like I may have to use the yellow oxide. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. What's this? What's this? That's white. Okay, so let's use the yellow oxide. We're going to mix it up, and then I'll probably add a little white to it. But I think if I get my eyes in to the point that I like it, it probably will work a little bit better. And I'm going to put out some titanium white. Now I'm using this yellow oxide. It's from Social Artworking. I've been using it and I kind of like it. It's a soft body. It seems to work pretty nice with this paint. And I'm going to use a, let's see, this is number 4 bright for this. I hope you can see it. Okay, let's try and see what we can do with the eyes. Now the first thing I'm going to do is add a little white to my phthalo green yellow shade. And I'm kind of matching it up here with her actual eyes. So the way it looks to me here is there's something that comes down this. Oops, I don't want to get it into the eye, but I do want to get that little bit of, I got it right into that eye. I want that green. Okay. And then it's a little bit lighter, just a tad lighter here. I may have to use a small detail brush because I'm having a hard time getting in there with this one. So I am going to bring this right here, right close to that, and get that darker green right next to it. And then it gets really dark, so I'm going to add some brown to my palette also. I'm going to use some burnt sienna, and this was a heavy body. I'm going to mix some of that green with that. Just to darken it up. Get some of my green. And get kind of like a muddy shade. And I can show you on my palette. Unfortunately, I don't have a camera set up there, but if you can see that, it's almost like an oxide green, it looks like to me. Or green oxide. And I am going to put it all through here, this dark. It's almost like a brown shade on this photograph. It comes way over. Very dark. Like that. Very dark. And I am going to add some more of the brown in this. Even if I'm just putting down this as an underneath coat, and then I can glaze over it. But that is pretty dark in here, so I want to make sure I get that darkness. Now the reason I'm doing this, I think that should be up higher too, a little darker, are the eyes first. I just want to kind of capture her look because it's so sinister looking, and I just thought that it would be kind of neat to get the eyes in first. I may be making a mistake here, but we'll see what happens, huh, after we get this done. I just want this to come up and come down like that. A little darker. A little darker. But it kind of just blends in with that brown there, so I'm going to have to probably get more brown in. Okay, let me get some more dark. Because in this crevice right here, it is dark. And I'm kind of using warm colors against the cool. I just want to see how that works. Okay. You get a little darker green. I want that to be really dark. And then as it gets up here, it gets a little more yellow. So I'm going to add some of my oxide to the brown. Just a smidge. And kind of just get this to go. And then it's going to meet up with green. Okay, now her inside of the eye, I want to get that, and that is pretty light in comparison to the other shades that we have here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull out some white and just put a dab of the green in. Just a dab. It's still going to be, it's kind of interesting how it'll look here. And her eye just rests on that. Almost looks white. Okay, now the outside of her eye is pretty dark, like the part of the iris. I do want to get a little black on my palette here. I'm just using, let's see, my Galleria Black, Mars Black. So, it's by Winsor and Newton. I'm putting that out on my palette now. Don't want a lot. Okay, let's see here. We want to get those like a green yellow, yellow green. So I'm just mixing some of my oxide, yellow oxide with green, my phthalo yellow green. I kind of got a, I'll show you what I have here. I have a really sort of like a yellow green, but on the cooler side. And I am going to put in this part of her eye. And I kind of went over too far here, so I'm going to have to fix that. Because that's like part of her, the white of her eye. Now I'm going to get some of the just phthalo green yellow by itself, and I'm still using my detail brush, and I'm going to just kind of outline her eye. Let me go this way here. Just outline it. And I'm going to use white and green. I'm still putting, it's just a very, very pale color of green, but I want that green in her eye. And that's going to be because of all the green that's around it. Kind of giving that cast of a green. Okay. And then I'm going to put a black pupil in. Just for now. Just to get that in there. Sort of like a cat eye, it reminds me. Alright, let me get this a little better here. Alright, so now I picked up a little red. That's a basic Naphthol Crimson. And I'm going to put that in the corner part here of her eye. And it comes about right here. I'm going to add a little bit more of the white in there. And I am going to make this a little bit different also, because I'm not really thrilled with the way that looks there. So I'm going to put this little bit of white. I'm still using my detail brush. And this is a number 2 round. Okay, a little bit more into that. Let's see here. I think just for, I'm going to get that mixture that I mixed with the green and the yellow. And I'm going to just outline it here. Just so we know that that's the end of her eye. And right underneath here, I am going to make that a little darker. So I'm going to mix up some green and brown, a little bit of white, just a little bit. A little bit more of that. This might not be dark enough. I'll have to see how this looks around here. Always darken it underneath here, just the shadow. It's kind of like a shadow. So I might actually make that shadow more of a green. Let's see how this looks. Since everything is so green here. Maybe just straight phthalo green. I'm still using the yellow. There we go. Okay. Got that one in. Now, as you can see, I did not mix my eye here color, so I'm going to put that in before it goes. I kind of made him, I didn't get that traced on there correctly. So here's the way this goes. I'll just do the whole eye. Like that. I'm going to use that real pale green underneath here. Still using my small brush. And this green right here is going to be right on this. Almost kind of matches her eyes. And then right as we get into the corner there, it gets a little darker. So I'm going to go into my burnt sienna and just kind of make that like a darker green. And of course, the rest of that is like into a dark greenish color also. This here part. Kind of dark. It meets right in by her nose. Okay, now I'm going to rinse that up, put a little bit of white in here for her eye. Right here. It's not completely white. You don't want to have it white because your eyes are not white. That's why I have that little bit of green in there. And then I'm going to put that extra darkness around her eye here. And I think the way I'm looking at this now, this is not quite right. This comes up. This may not be quite right here. Comes over and then down. Like that. Now her eye has to come up a little bit. And mix a little bit more of my green oxide and my green. And kind of just make it rounder. Just like that. To meet that part right there. Okay. And then put the pupil in. Gotta put the pupil in. And it kind of is almost like not even being seen here, but we want to make sure we get something in there. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put that dark shadow, which is right in here. Little dark shadow. Kind of come in there with that lighter green again. Right in here. And blend it a little bit more. Oops, that's too light. Too light. Okay. So now we're just going to move on to the hat. I have my big number 12. And kind of go into that. Okay. Now I'm going to put more black on my palette because I'm going to be needing that for the hat. We'll start up here. I put a little highlight on that. Get a little gray here and just kind of move it on in here. Let's see here. Mix a little bit of gray. Just to kind of give it a little bit of, make it look like it's dimensional instead of flat. Because the picture really doesn't do it justice. It's kind of, it's just too dark the way it's printed, so. Ooh, I might put a little too much on my brush here. So we're just going to swoop that hat down like that. Wipe this brush out, and just since that's in there, that'll kind of help me out a little bit. kind of what I needed anyway, was a highlight on there. So it's kind of helping me. Black on my palette. I guess I need more. Paints go fast. Even, oh, I meant to tell you too, this is an 8x10, or not 8x10, 11x14 canvas. I may have told you that earlier, but I just want to make sure I did tell you. Making it something a little smaller this time. Okay. And get the side here, because that's part of her hat. So you want to make sure your side is covered, that it extends into that part. Okay. I'm going to get this part right here. Now this piece here is purple, and it has sort of like a metallic, or kind of like a, what would you say? It sort of looks like diamonds. I'm not going to put those in. It'll just be kind of sparkly. We'll try to get that sparkle in there. Now don't forget to get this part also. And then it has like a purple headband, so that'll kind of tie those two together. This might actually have a little bit of gray in it, so I'm going to just kind of like swoop it in there. Okay. Now let me get my dogs the same purple, and we'll put the velvet ribbon sash there. Looking pretty good so far. I'm happy with it. Hope you are. Looks like it's going to be fun, this painting. It's going to be kind of easy too. Okay, so this has like a little bit of a roll there, and we'll be darkening it up a bit. Okay, let's see here if we can get that a little darker. And just a tinge of black in it, just to get it really kind of dark in through some of these places here. Because it is, well, that might not have been what I was looking for there. It kind of comes down like this. Get it like that, somewhat here. Okay, and here and here. It's kind of dark. Then you get a little bit of light to go with that. It has to be a little lighter. And that goes like on the top of this. That kind of gives you your, that it's got some ripples in it. So let me get some more of that dark. Blend it. Okay, a little bit more lightness right in here. And, well, it looks a little bit darker in there, so let me get that dark back in there. Same thing with over here. We got to get some of that lightness in there because I kind of took it out. Okay, let's see how that looks. Hopefully it's coming along. Okay. That, add a little bit more black to my purple. That's dioxazine purple, and I use the Utrecht. I like this paint too. It's pretty good for a lot of my painting. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do now is kind of put some of that dark black in there, and I'm just using my detail brush because this is very tiny up in here. It comes like down, and I think I had too much of the purple going on there. Alright, so for now I'm just going to make this buckle white. I just want to kind of whiten it. Well, it's actually going to be some gray, I guess, because I had the black in my brush, but I'm going to just kind of go in here with it. Just to establish my point here. So I know it's here. And I'm going to put some more of that purple in too. Little details here. Okay, just for now, that just holds it for me. And I'm going to put a little bit of purple because it comes up and over here. Okay, and there's just a little piece of black because this here hat has to have that little divot there, and it has a little divot right here, right where the kind of goes underneath there. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And I'm hoping it looks pretty good. But from here it looks pretty decent. We'll put some extra little additions on that. I think what I want to do now, I kind of want to get some of her face in, but I have to get some of these dark areas first. So I'm going to work on that next. Let's see. you know, like the dark, well, let me see here. I know I want to get some dark right around her eye there. Some of the green. I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow oxide to it. Because right around here, this here part of her eye. Oops. I'll have to get that back in there again. Get that back in there. So let me do that. Get some more of that brown too. I gotta get some more of that brown. So I am going to put my burnt sienna in my palette, since I lost some of it. Because right under her eyes, it's really dark. It's very dark. Just going to mix that with a little bit of my green. These are like shadow places here. So there's a shadow here. Comes out. And let me see here, I need some white and green. Just not sure here. This has to be a little lighter in through here. So we want to get that sort of like lighter. Okay. And go in with that white and green sort of. White and green coming back in here. And that green, a little bit of green, has got to be very dark in here. It's got to be dark, dark, dark. Right through here. Okay. Okay. Same underneath here, it's kind of dark. She probably has some sort of eyeshadow on. But then it gets, well, there's a couple dark spots. So let's see here. We've got this dark one here. And we've got one, oh, because her nose kind of bumps here. So her nose comes down. Down and takes a little dive in here, and there's like a little kind of triangle that is right there, and her nose, spooky little nose, right through here, it's kind of light. There's also a little triangle that comes down in here, like that. That highlights that dark shadow there. Okay. Now she's got also another dark shadow right under here. So it kind of comes up. Might not see it real well. A little bit of wet here. And it comes up like this. And this part here is pretty dark. It's really dark. It's almost black. I'm going to make a little dark green by adding some black to it. Kind of like just getting that black in here. Going over my line. A dark shade. Could probably be darker. Here we go. It's really dark. So I want some black in here. Just right there. Just to make it darker. I'm not really getting that depth or that darkness. And right in here, I want that really dark. And then she's got like a dark spot that comes up. It comes over. Kind of just meets right there. So I just want to get that nice and dark. This is real dark here. Okay. Okay. Right, so I'm going to continue to put some dark spots here in certain areas. And I'm actually going to use my sienna, my burnt sienna, to do this. And I'm going to use this bright. It's a number 4 bright. And just put in those darker pieces. Whoops, I almost lost everything here. Whoa. Oh, I see what's going on here. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, I was losing some of my paint. It was going to fall. Okay, I'm going to get some more of that phthalo green on my palette as well, and start that process of getting in the dark spots here. Oh no, where did that go? My phthalo green. Or was it a different shade? I did have phthalo green. I think the yellow shade I did. Okay. That back out. I start out with a little bit of paint and then I start adding it. It's all your preference and how you want to paint, you know, but we do what we do. So, making it easy on ourselves, I guess you could say. Alright, so I know that I have a dark spot here. And that is part of her face, and it indents in. I'm going to add a little bit more brown to this as well. And I'm going to get some brown in through here as also. But I do want it to be dark up in through here. Okay. Now, she has some of the dark spot under here. I'm going to put that, make that green dark. And really takes up a lot of this here piece. Right in through here. I'm not exactly sure what that is that she has underneath there. And she has it right here, part of her that comes down. Now she has a line from her nose that comes around And just a little past her lips there. That there. And her upper lip, I'm going to rinse that out. Her upper lip is very dark. And I want to get that in also. Now my phone is ringing and I'm not going to pay attention to that right now. I am just trying to get this in, so I'm sorry for the ringing there. I don't know who these people are that call me. I don't even have I'm on the do not call list, but they still call. You know how that is. Make that a little bit browner in through here. Okay, now I think we have pretty much what we want. In through here, there is like it comes off of the eye and it's kind of dark right in through here. And I'm going to just put that as straight green. Underneath this part here is kind of dark as well. Don't know who that is. Okay. And up here, she has some darkness as well. She's got like a dark, it's kind of dark in through here. And I want to get that in her. There. Okay, now I'm going to mix the green and the yellow. And this is our hair. That's kind of a dark brown hair, sort of almost black too. We will get that in. I kind of like this so far. This is looking good right here. I might add a little bit more of my black and gray. Kind of just get a little bit more gray into this. Because it's not standing out like I'd want it to. So I'll put some black in there. And through here, just a little lightness. Just kind of putting a little light into that. Now I want to blend this in. Well, it looks like whoever wanted to reach me left a message. Okay. Okay, so this is what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of blending this a little bit. Kind of give it a little bit more of a highlight as well here. Just want a little bit right in through here. Okay. Doesn't have to be a lot. I just want to kind of get it that it doesn't look flat. Don't need to have a flat hat. No flat hat today. Do not want it flat. Okay. Maybe just a tad right in here. Get some of that lighter. Okay. Now, I'm going to get, let's see, what brush here? I'm going to get my number 8 Filbert. And I'm going to make some green and yellow. So I'm going to put some of my my oxide yellow and my phthalo yellow green and a little bit of white. Get a nice green mixture like this. Alright, so I mixed enough to make a nice green mixture. We're going to start to get some of this into her face. Now this is where you might want to get some of your glazing liquid to put on, because we want to kind of glaze over these areas here that are we put in here. I'm actually going to put a little bit more of my yellow oxide in as well, right underneath the lip. I'm going to get some of that on that. Let me see here. Right under here we need some of that. I might use my smaller. I'm noticing it now as I'm looking at this. Some of the highlights that you want to get in there are going to be the yellow oxide. So let's see here. She has some here. She also has some along the chin here surface. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that in there. And it touches up against that brownish shade. So let me get some more of that really close to her. And some of it actually comes up in through here. Okay. And I just noticed something here with this. So instead of it coming down like that, it kind of meets this part right here. Okay, and boy, I kind of ruined that message, didn't I? And we want to put a little bit of that up in here, the oxide yellow. She's got quite a bit of it in here too, but that's alright. We're gonna... And she has quite a, like, it's almost like a, kind of a bag under here. You know how you get those bags? All us older women know those things. Okay. And... And let's put some of this in here, just a little touch. Some really dark green right in here. I want that to be nice and dark. Where her chin comes down. Now, now we'll go back into our phthalo yellow green. Put a little bit more yellow into it. Actually, I'm going to go grab some of my blending liquid because I want to thin that out so that when I go over this area, kind of keep that darkness. We want that darkness to stay. This brush might be too big actually for this. Now when you are doing someone's face, like I'm doing here, I'm going to get a smaller Filbert. Smaller Filbert, smaller Filbert. Where's my small Filbert? This could be a little too small. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, I've got a smaller Filbert, which is I think it's number 4. When you're going into these smaller area, or when you're doing a forehead, you want to kind of go in the same direction. All right, so like our forehead is rounded, so we want to kind of do that with our paintbrush. So we know that it's kind of rounded. Now I went into my glazing liquid to do this because I want this to be nice and dark still. So we're just kind of glazing over that darkest spot. And I'm going to do some more of that. Get more of my glazing liquid and go over this here area. This will probably be where her eyebrow is. But it also is a dark part of her eye area. And we just want to glaze over these things. Add some highlight in there. Now there's a little bit more of that yellowy color in here. So I'm going to stick that in there. It's right in through here. It's like a highlight of some sort. And we also have it on the tip of her nose. A little bit that goes in here. And her lip. Her lip has an undercolor of this yellow. So I'm kind of pulling out from her lip. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. So we're going back in here and we are going to use my glazing liquid and green. And we're going to go to the nose. Go over this here. Under the eye. And let's see here, we're coming down. Now, let's see. Right in here, this is dark. I mean, it's a heavier paint. So we're just going to do that. We know that this is her nose. My dog is barking. Okay, kind of go over those lines there. We want to kind of go over that area just lightly, lightly. And come down, because this is lighter and through here. And then we're just going to kind of glaze over this area. That's her chin. Glaze over this a little bit. Not too much, because you don't want to put a lot of paint on this. This is like a dark area of her face. As is this. So we're going to kind of get that a little darker under her nose, where it's dark. Okay. And that's our first coat, actually. We're going to probably add more, but we're going to build up on this. We want to build up. That is the key thing here. We're building up. Now, I have a little bit of hooker's green, and I'm going to put some of that in here also. This is a nice dark green, and this may kind of bring out some of the areas that I do want to have darker, but yet the brown, we don't want that in here. So, more of a greenish face. She's got to have more green in her face. Under the eyes. This gets work just like any other kind of a portrait. If you cover up the dark areas, you want to make sure that you put them back in. It's very important to get those back in there. I'm looking at my painting here, my picture. Her nose comes out a little bit. She's kind of got like a hooked nose here. So we want to make sure we get that kind of hooked up. She's got those little warts as well, but I just want to make sure I'm getting this the right way. Now, see, that's starting to show up better. Gonna put that nice dark here underneath here. Kind of blend this part in a little bit better. Maybe get some more of that yellow and kind of like bring it in, because you want to kind of make it. I think she's coming along pretty good. What do you think? I think this is a great painting. Absolutely great. Get this dark under here. Kind of blend it. Now, because her neck is going to be a little rounded also, you know, you're coming over with that. You're just getting in this all filled in, because you want to kind of have that. You got to fill it in. Start to fill it in order for it to work, to see what you've got. And then you start adding more. You just add layer on top of layer. This is the way you paint portraits. You take one step at a time. Even something as ghoulish as this, you want to show it one step at a time. But I really like the way this is coming about here. It's looking good so far. And I'm still picking up my glazing liquid, because you do not want to overdo this. One little color at a time. One color at a time. Go over this eye here a little bit. Here. Get that nose bumped up a bit. I want to get that bumped up some. I think she looks pretty haggardy myself. She looks like she's ready to go out and cook up some ghoulish stew. The more you do portraits, the better you get with this. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work. You can't just think it's going to happen. You gotta work at it. It's a lot of work. Lots of work. Putting some dark back in here again, if you can see. Get some more of that dark in there. I'm gonna go in with some darker green now. Kind of go up and around here. Comes down in there. Some highlight of that yellowish color. Put some of that in my green. And it's right here that it's kind of light. And that could be just her eyebrow that is being worked there. There's some green up in here. I mean, some yellowish colors in through here. So we're going to put some of that in there. Okay. Get some more of my dark. Put more dark in here again. Okay, let's see. Maybe a little bitty black in that. Making that a real dark green. That's my hooker's green that I'm using. I just added a little bit black into it because I want it to get dark in through here. There we go. Okay. Putting out more of my hooker's green. Okay, and these are basic colors. I'm not using anything expensive because these are just holiday paintings. So, you know, you can go a little less extravagant in using these colors. You know, you don't have to use your best ones. And for learning also, it's a good tool to help to learn how to paint, how the paint works, and those things too. You just want to make sure that you are learning with the different shades. Okay, we have some of this in here. Just putting a little titch of that yellow oxide in here. I'm going to wipe my brush and just smooth it over here. Just want to get that little color in there. A little bit of color. Blend some more. Okay. I am going to get my small, let's see. I need a small brush, a small flat. I'm going to use this one. Okay, this is a 1/8 inch Lunar Blender. It's sort of like a Filbert, but I want to get her lips. Now, her lips are dark to start, so we're going to put some dark in first. Then we're going to put some of that brown to get right in here. She doesn't have much of an upper lip. It just kind of comes out like that, almost straight, little bit of a curve right there. Can't really see much of her lip. Okay, let that dry a little. Right in here it's pretty dark. I want to get some of that dark black mixture that I have here. And I am coming in through here. Darker. Coming out of here, her nose area. And I'm coming just straight down through here, around this part and down. Just like that. And this here tip of her nose is pretty dark right there. And this is kind of like where her nose kind of gets rounded, but it has like a little divot in there. And this comes all the way over like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to get some more of my green. Just straight hooker's green here. Straight hooker's green. Come up and through that. Kind of blend it. Just blend it. Here too. Just going to blend it out with my blender brush here. It's like a little blender. Alright. Got some nice dark shadow in there. That's what we want. I'm going to put a little bit of this green up through here. Just like that. And it's really dark through here, so we want that dark. We really do. Like a darker green. Kind of makes her eyes come out a little bit more here. And around there. Okay. It's very dark in there. Really dark in there. Okay, now I gotta get some lighter green. And that was my mixture of phthalo green. And I'm gonna stick it right up in here. Okay. Okay. And we've got that yellowish brown mixture. So I'm going to mix some of my yellow oxide with some of my burnt sienna. And I'm going to just outline this here. Just a titch. Bring it up into the green. Same here. I'm going to come down with this into my lip. Okay. Now, she's looking a little ghoulish, isn't she? Up into that, and right, let's see here, comes right down a little bit, like into that. Okay. Now, I want to get some lighter spots on my nose here. So I am going to add a little white to that green that I made. I'm not sure I like this shade here that I made up here. But we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, it's alright. It's good. Just lightly going over these areas here. Kind of just want to make it very touched. Just lightly. I'm going to get some of my blending liquid, kind of just to go over this part, because you want the shadow, but you don't want it like it to be totally black. Okay. I'm going to put this in there. Okay, I'm going to get some more of my blending liquid and kind of go over this, because I just didn't care for that real bright green. So a little bit onto the neck. I get the chin in there too, just a tad here. Well, I really like the way she looks. I'll tell you, she's scary looking to me. And I think she'd scare anybody. Alright, so we want to put some more of that dark back in here. Okay, now, I do notice that this is really dark in through here, so I'm going to get some of my black, mix it into my green, my hooker's green, and make this a little bit darker in through here. If I can. Ooh, that's not dark enough. No, dark enough. Okay, let's see if this will do it. Because this is supposed to look like a crease here. Comes and meets this, okay? Then it gets a little darkened through here. Comes around like that. Comes down like that. It's almost a square. It comes over, and then it comes down like that. And then you kind of get that lighter orangey green. Same here, got to get that shade right in through here, crease of her eye here. Same thing. Comes around. Okay, a little bit underneath here. Here, okay. That's what we're using. Oops, okay. Very dark in through here. And I'm gonna get some of the green. She's got like a brownish spot here. It's weird looking. So I'm gonna put some brown into my green. Kind of like it starts at her lip right here. Then it comes down some and over. I guess it's like a shadow like this thing here. I want that to be the same. Okay. Okay, that was a little lighter, so let me get that to be a little lighter here. Okay, a little lighter. Here. Oops, that might be too light. too light, but you have to have light against the dark, so this might just be what we need here. Okay, a little highlight in here, which is more of a yellowish color. I'm gonna get some of that in there. Comes in through here. Also here. That's dark. This is kind of light. Comes down. Right in here. It's a little lighter. And it meets that dark. Here. Also kind of where the hook is. Get some highlight on her face. Okay, for right now, I like it the way it is. I'm not going to fool with it. I'm trying to think what color here we could give her. Let's see, I have burnt umber. That might be good to have like as the base coat of that. We'll get that on there. We also got to put on her little spots and stuff, her warts and things. A true kind of witch look. But I think once we get the hair in, it'll kind of pop out that face a bit too. So, I'm going to use my number 4 Filbert. Oh, my dog's all shook up. All shook up. So we're going to get this in, and then we'll be able to kind of get the other kind of stuff. We're going to put a few strands around her face too, because it just looks a little, maybe put some of that greenish color into her hairline. We just want to kind of get this in though. get it in there. Yeah, we want to be able to soften up the hairline. Now here we're going to have a very hard edge. Very hard edge here. So my doggie came to visit. My little Sally. She certainly is my buddy. My buddy. I think I'm going to use a smaller brush to get in there because I don't want to mess up what I already have. So I'm going to use that little number, it's a 1/8 inch Lunar Blender, it says. But I think it's a lot more than a blender. Sort of like a little Filbert brush. Now sometimes to get an idea of how it looks upside down too, it looks pretty good upside down as well. I like to get a couple angles on it to make sure that we've got what we're looking for. I am going to put some of this green into her hairline here. Just kind of soften it through. I may not be able to do it while it's still wet, so I might have to come back, but you want to get some of that hairline into the hair, just so we don't have a hard edge here. I don't want that hard edge. Then as you put the hair in, you can like make these little lines that kind of go through the, bringing in that's her skin sort of like, you know, so you just don't want that hard line. No hard lines with this. And I may wait for that to dry a little bit more. Now, let's see, I'm going to get some more of my brown in there where the purple is coming through. So I'm going to use my bigger brush here. This is my number 12 bright. Number 12 bright. Just kind of get, and we're doing it the same way. We're putting the paint in the same way as the hair is flowing. We're also going to put some of her neck in there because we're going to show that a little bit. So we want to get a little darker green because some of this is still her neck. It's just the way her hair is flowing down. So let's get some of that in there. Oops. If it was her, it would be coming down like that. Just a little darker because we're matching it with the green. So we want to get that dark feeling in there. So we'll just kind of go like that. Her ear might be right about here, but I'm not going to put that in. I may actually put some eyebrow here. I just feel it needs a little shaping there. Maybe like that. Just to indicate that there's an eyebrow. Same over here. Okay. I'm sure witches have eyebrows too. Okay. tapping it in, tapping it in. Okay. So if you notice, this kind of all blends in together, and that's what we want. We want that to blend in together. Get some of this done in here. All right. Get some of that dark green. And just kind of like get that in there. I want that dark in there. Okay, just like that. She's scary or what? I think she's looking pretty good. How do you feel? I'd love to hear your comments. I think we'll be finishing this up pretty quickly now. It's just about done. I'm looking to see what else I might need. I want to put a little bit of color around the edges of her green eyes. Like right here. Just a little bit here. And maybe sort of like have some of that green come in her eye there. And get some of the lighter green. That's phthalo green. Maybe a little yellow oxide. Kind of give it like a yellow-green color. Right in here. Just kind of like get a little bit more. Okay. And that white color of her eyes, I want to kind of like make it a little bit better here. Here. Okay. And of course, you know, you have to have a little glisten in the eye. So now I'm using the back of my brush, little glisten. I tapped it into some white. And I just want to put a couple little dots right here. Oop, that might be too much. Might be too much. Looks like her glistens were right in the black part. Might have to take some of that out of there. Not what I was hoping for, so let's see what we can fix, if we can fix that. Not exactly what I was hoping for here. Okay. She has to look spooky, you know. But yet she has to be like a normal person, too. I mean, we all have that glisten in our eyes whenever we have light shining on us. So, let's see what we can figure out here. Okay, let's get that back in there like this. Spooky. Okay, let me just stick a little bit of that white green color right in here. Now I put a dark here. I'm going to do a little dark with some brown and green. I want to just get that right in here. It's not a lot of dark, but you just want to have that little bit there. And this side here has a few eyelashes. So I'm just going to stick a few, just a few here. Can't even tell. She had a few sticking up here too, but I don't want to do too much of that. So it's just going to be like a little dark titch there. All right. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to go back in here on the nose because I want to highlight that a little bit more. And I'm going to get, let's see, this looks like the one I want. I'm going to get a number 4 bright bristle brush, and I'm going to mix up a little bit of the green. Let's see, I want my hooker's green and some yellow, some of my yellow oxide. Let's see here. Yeah, I just noticed this and I wanted to like kind of fix it up a bit. Just a touch. And we're getting like that yellowish green color. And I just want to put it right here and right here. Just to kind of like have that come through a bit. Now I'm just going to blend it on her nose. Now this could not show even, but I just want to make sure that I get some of that. Then I'm going to highlight under here. And of course we have to give her a Cupid's bow, even though she does not have just touch it up here. I have that. I'm going directly into my hooker's green now. She doesn't have a distinct Cupid's bow, but we still got to put it in there. Maybe get some of that dark brown, burnt umber. Let's see. Okay. Boy, sometimes it's really hard to open these. There we go. After, you know, you see it dry a little bit, you notice that you need to put some different shades in. I'm just going to go in directly into my burnt umber with some of the green that's still on my brush, not rinsing it out. Kind of just giving it that. Because right in here, we have that where it's dark. Same in here. And then we have a little lightness. So I'm going to go into that green mixture that I made. I want to put a little bit of light in through here. Oh boy, you can hear that, can't you? Just want to get some of that lightness coming through here. Above the eyebrow area. And then even in through here, there's some light. I want to get that in there too. Just getting some of the light shade in here. We have some around in here. Some that comes off of this. This is kind of giving it the dimension that we need to get in there. And I'm going to go directly into my hooker's green. Just kind of like fill that in a little bit. Some of my brown. I'm going to mix a little bit of my umber, my burnt umber, and green, hooker's green, because I do want this to have a depth, darkness here. Okay. And up in here, we need to get some hair in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of my brown up in here. Only because I don't think her forehead is that big. And we can like put a few strands of hair coming through here, which I think I'm going to do that right now. That some of this is going to come down like that. And we'll have some that comes down here like that. Just got to have a few strands of hair. And glazing liquid, I'm going to add some of my glazing liquid to my brush because I want that to be nicely done. Covering up some of the green areas here. Alright. Now, I'm going to go into my yellow ochre. And I'm going to add some highlights to her hair. Okay, so we're going to put some right in through here. And definitely here. And perhaps some right in through here. And you're not going to go crazy with this. You're just adding a few highlights just so that you have people that are looking at this know that this is hair. And it does not have to be a lot of hair. Now I'm going to pull some of that hair down in through here also. Make it a little darker. I'm going to add a little black to that burnt umber. Kind of like get some dark here because there's hair that comes down here. Got some crazy hair. I kind of break this up a bit. Don't need to have it so harsh looking. Get into some of my yellow ochre here. A little bit of bangs. Okay. And going into my brown. Just have some of that come out. Got to look a little straggly. A little straggly here and there. There we go. Now we want to go into making, I think I want to bring this hat down a little bit more too. Just not happy with the way that's sitting on her head. It just, maybe if we bring it down like this a little bit. There. Because this one comes down, I think this one should come down also. I mean, it's a big hat. We can add a little bit of white to that, make it a little gray. Just right here. Oops, not so much there. Back into my black. Don't want that to be so white. Don't want that white there. Ooh-wee. Alright, so now what we want to do, we want to kind of like make some dark green bumps on her face. She has like some spots. So I'm going to get my brown, mix it up in my green. And I have my number 2 round. We're just going to put some spots on her face. You're not going to put a ton here, but you just want to know that there's spots on her face. I don't know what they are. Kind of like birthday marks kind of things. And right here we want to put, well, yeah, we'll put it right here. We're going to put a mole of some sort. We're going to highlight that with some yellow. There we go, and add some of that green in there, the hooker's green. So we know that's like a little bump. And I'm going to put one right here on her chin. So I'm going to go into my dark brown that I mixed with the green. Put one right here. This is, I think, where I had it before, where I had it marked. Go into the brown now, so I want that to show up. Give me some of the yellow. We're just kind of like making this pop a little bit, and that's why you're putting that yellow in there. And then the dark green brown color. So it looks like there's a bump there. And we can do that with these too. We can give it a little bit of an effect of brown around here. We'll just highlight them a little bit. Go a little bit here. That these are some sort of markings on her. She looks pretty wicked, don't you think? See, and this is still leading a little bit more light. So I'm going into my yellow ochre and my hooker's green, and I'm going to highlight that some more. I just want that to show up a little bit better. A little dark underneath that, so I need a little dark underneath this here. Ooh, she looks scary, don't you think? Yeah, she looks good. I think she looks pretty good as is. Okay, we got the hair. That looks pretty decent. Now I want to work on that a little bit. The way this looks to me, it looks like it's got some sort of sparklies in there. So I'm going to go into my black and white and mix some white and some black. Just a touch of black, nothing big. Make it a little gray. And kind of just, let's see here. Oh, that is. Just make some little, well, that might not be dark enough. We need to have it a little darker. Little darker here, like here. And then there's these little, I'll probably go over it again with some white. Okay. These are kind of blurred out. Oop, too much white. Too much. Straighten it up a little bit. Now I'll just get a little bit of a lighter gray. It's still gray. And we're going to go into these a little bit more here, okay? Okay. Gray some more. Okay, these are kind of just blended in. Just blend these a little bit more, and then I'll just touch them up with some of the white. And I think we have it done. I don't see anything else that needs to be put in here. I'm real happy with it. I might add a little bit more color here on this lip. Let's see here. I just want this to show like some of these highlights. I'm going to go into my blending liquid and my yellow ochre or oxide yellow. Kind of just underneath here, it's a little bit lighter. Just kind of blending it in. There's something here that comes down a little bit. These are like little markings here of her face, and then like right underneath this lip, it's a little light also, and it comes up. Now I want to go into my brownish green again because we got to make this look like it's skin, her skin. So if I go into that dark, kind of lighten some of that up around this area. I'll actually push it back, kind of make it look like there's wrinkles there. There we go. Okay, same on the lip here. Just want to get this like right in here, dark. It should be very dark, so I'm going to go into my black brown mixture. I want this to be really dark. And then some of those little things that come into your lips, you know, the lines that go in there. Okay, let me go into my green brown, just to tone it down some. There. Okay, I think we have a, still not light enough for me here. I really want that a little bit lighter. So I'm going to put another coat here, just coming around. Maybe that'll do it. Got to have that tip of her nose a little bit too, so you want to have that. And I think that's it. I think I can sign this now. I think it's finished, and hopefully you enjoyed this painting. And if you did, I'd like to see a comment and a like, and maybe you can even subscribe if you're enjoying them. So I'd really like to see that happen. So please like and subscribe. Make a few comments. That helps me out. Now, usually when I'm painting, I only use my initials. So that's my initials there. MD. All right, well, thank you, and until next time, bye.